is this? What is this? Where's all the money?
That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs.
What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the endlessly edgy Dr. Disaster, and Ubisoft dumped significant sums of money into a bunch of games that were supposed to lead to a massive economic year in 2024. But instead of celebrating an economic boon, they had a different sort of announcement to make.
I declare bankruptcy!
Just look at the list of god-awful failures that Ubisoft engineered last year. Skull and Bones was supposed to be the first quadruple A game, but it got utterly squashed. X-Defiant was supposed to be Ubisoft's answer to Call of Duty, and it got shut down after only a year. Star Wars Outlaws was supposed to capitalize on the Star Wars franchise and make them a whole bunch of money, and it flopped. And then, the easiest layup in the history of video game layups, an Assassin's Creed game based in feudal Japan, Ubisoft decided though to embroil this game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, in culture war shit, putting the focus on a black samurai instead of making the game about Japanese folks. And instead of an easy win, they had to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows several months, and the game turned into a pretty lackluster release.
Do you know how to spell stupid? Y-O-U.
As a result of all their asinine decisions, Ubisoft was essentially forced to sell off all the valuable parts of their company in order to avoid bankruptcy. A new business entity was formed, with Chinese company Tencent owning a quarter of it, and this entity now houses Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, basically any IP owned by Ubisoft which has any value. Tencent saw the opportunity to own a massive stake in these franchises for a paltry $1 billion roughly, and they said to themselves,
Yummy!
Well, as we've been saying all along, this deal they made with Tencent does not fix all of their economic problems. Ubisoft needs more cash on hand to make up for the massive discrepancy between the cash flow they expected from their major releases last year and what they actually got. So now it is being reported that Ubisoft is selling off even more IPs. The mainstream media is playing this story off by focusing on the potential for new games to come out of these franchises, but what none of them want to talk about is how this is clearly a sign that Ubisoft is still scrambling to stay alive as the financial walls keep closing in.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Also, I've begun uploading content onto Rumble, so make sure to follow me over there, and don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. I keep a list of games, lousy with wokeness, pinned to the account at all times for your reference. But let's take a peek at what's going on with Ubisoft selling off some franchises. This article here is from IGN telling us about this deal between Ubisoft and Atari. It says down here, Atari has acquired 5 chiefly dormant franchises from developer and publisher Ubisoft, including Child of Eden, Cold Fear, Grow Home, Grow Up, and I Am Alive. Atari said it will reintroduce iconic creations bringing them to new platforms and renewed publishing frameworks. They'll all be re-released under Atari's own publishing label and available on new platforms. Millions of players have experienced these worlds over the years, and this will open the door for longtime players to revisit those memories while inviting new audiences to discover them for the first time, said Ubisoft's VP of New Business. Atari has a rich gaming legacy and deep appreciation for these classic titles. We're excited to see how they'll evolve and connect with players in fresh, meaningful ways. This isn't the first strategic partnership Ubisoft has struck this year, of course. Back in March, Ubisoft created a subsidiary company based on its Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six brands with a $1.25 billion investment from Chinese megacorp Tencent. The company has also partnered with Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund for additional Assassin's Creed Mirage content. These agreements follow a number of high-profile flops, layoffs, studio closures, and game cancellations in the run-up to Assassin's Creed Shadow's release, and there was enormous pressure on it to succeed after the company's share price hit a historic low. And that is where I'm going to go ahead and push back on the narrative that they're trying to construct here, where they make it sound like Assassin's Creed Shadows was just a poor little game that had an unfair circumstance thrust against it. This right here, if you look at the stock value of Ubisoft, this is the low point in the past year, as you can clearly see. And this right here is the release date of Assassin's Creed Shadows, meaning that the biggest dip in the company's horrible past year came after Shadows was released. It's amusing how hard these game journalist types try to protect Assassin's Creed Shadows, but Shadows was not a solution to Ubisoft's problems, it was a part of the cause. And in fact, it was only a couple weeks or so after Shadows came out that Ubisoft had to relent and sell off a portion of their company to Tencent. And we still don't know all the details on that merger. All we know for sure is that Ubisoft was in desperate need of liquid capital in order to keep the lights on, and clearly they're still in need of funds, which is why they sold off all this IP to Atari. After all, this is a company with damn near 20,000 employees. You'd think they would have projects in place for these franchises on their own, but no, they don't. And in fact, the expectation is that sometime in the very near future, we are going to see a bloodbath in this company where thousands of these people lose their jobs. Once this new business entity's details are ironed out, it is likely that a lot of the frivolous employees will be axed. And by the way, I am clearly not the only one who recognizes this sell-off of IP as a bad sign for Ubisoft. This already low stock price that Ubisoft has been at just dropped another 4% this morning based on the news that Atari was buying up these other franchises. People realize that this is a desperate company incapable of paying their own bills because the games that they've made in the past year or so have been unappealing to their customers. Ubisoft is completely detached from what their customers actually want, which is why they are holding back Assassin's Creed Hexa and not announcing much of anything new surrounding that game. Originally, it sounded like Hexa was supposed to come out in like 2026, but we haven't learned anything new about it at all other than the fact that it features an all-female coven of witches getting hunted down during the Salem witch trials. And after the way that they handled Assassin's Creed Shadows, you just know that Hexa will be absolutely chock full of woke shit. The game will be all about how horrible and bad men are. We keep hearing rumors that a remastered or remade version of Black Flag is coming out sometime soon, and make no mistake, doing that is meant as a palate cleanser, a way to clean up their shitty image, since Black Flag is one of the highest regarded games in the Assassin's Creed series. This would give them an infusion of cash and hopefully fix their optics with customers. They need a buffer, because if they put out a trailer for Hexa sometime in the next year, and if that trailer is poorly received, there's almost no telling how badly this will affect the company's stock price. After all, there are no other known games being worked on by the studio worth mentioning that could save them from the tailspin that they're on. We could be looking at a penny stock if this sort of thing happens with the trailer for Hexa, but I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of Ubisoft and the Assassin's Creed brand into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.